be mostly driving my boy racer car. Oh. Yeah, baby!
What was that all about? What was that all about? Anyway, I thought I'd do a bit of a quick sort of video. I keep saying I'll do a quick video, and it'll be like 20 minutes long. I have to apologise for that. I'll try and keep this really short and sweet. I suppose really with regards to summing up the two consoles, the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, and to try and give some informed sort of overall conclusion about the two consoles, and undoubtedly one of the key questions out there is a number of people asking, right, which one do I get? Well, obviously that's an easy answer. It's the PlayStation 4, isn't it? Oh no, wait a minute, it's the Xbox One. No, cool. What a bellend. How can it be the Xbox? It's the PlayStation 4. It has to be. It's the most powerful. It's the best. It's awesome. No, wait a minute. Hold on. No, it's the Xbox One, isn't it? Yeah, it's got to be the Xbox. Oh, yeah, of course it is the Xbox One. It's a mind-blowing question, that one. Which one should I buy? And I think that I think asking the question about which one's best is, it's not an easy answer. It's not an easy answer, and I'm going to put this one out straight away, so there's absolutely no confusion about this before I even go into this in any great detail. Based on the last gen of consoles, so the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3, I was really an Xbox 360 fan. Not a fanboy, but a 360 fan. That is the console that I've put the most amount of time into. I've got the PlayStation 3 as well, but that is without doubt the console I've spent most time with, and it's the console I most prefer to use. I have been putting some more playtime into the PlayStation 3 recently, past sort of 6-8 months, but certainly the Xbox 360 has been my weapon of choice for a number of reasons. So I suppose in some ways I was sort of coming into this current gen now. Yeah, I can call it current gen. Slightly biased, perhaps, but I have been totally open-minded about both of the consoles. And of course, there's been a lot of chatter on the internet and in the press and so forth, and it sort of pissed me off a bit, if I'm being honest, because a lot of the stuff's been said based on subjective information that's been made available, and actually until the actual consoles have come out and the games are available, you can't really judge anything. You know, you've got to have something physical in front of you. There's no point going on what other people are saying as regards to, oh, the dev kits look like this, the graphics were like that, and it's capable of this, and yeah, whatever. I want to see it physically. I want to actually see what these consoles do. And of course, we're in a situation now where we can see that, but that is not going to be the full story. Yeah, because whatever we're seeing now isn't going to be what we're going to be seeing in 6 months' time, 12 months' time, let alone 2-3 years' time. You know, when people, developers really get to grips with these consoles and the sort of functionality they can do as regards to the programming libraries, APIs, and all that lot to get the best out of the silicon, because that's what it'd be about. So it's. I was getting a bit pissed off with all the hype around the PlayStation 4, if I'm being honest. And yes, so I went into this, but I did go into this absolutely totally open-minded. So as regards to the consoles, okay, let's look at the consoles themselves, the two consoles. Which one is best? It doesn't matter what you say around this, it is so subjective in my opinion. You know, the fact that the press are jumping on the fact that you know, the PlayStation 4 is the most powerfulest console, how can they say that? they're basing that on a couple of games that have come out as regards to the resolutions, and they're basing it on a hardware specification on paper. That doesn't always translate to reality. End of story. If I know anything about technology, it doesn't mean shit in reality. It really doesn't. It doesn't mean you're going to get great games. It doesn't mean that the games are going to be awesome to look at over and above anything else. So it's, you know, you really have to see the stuff in the flesh, and you've got to give it time to develop. So as regards to which is the best console, sorry, which is the most powerful, which is the best, and they're actually two different questions, aren't they, really? But let's go with which one's the most powerfulest. Well, apparently on paper it's the PlayStation 4, but there's a fair bit as regards to actually what the Xbox One architecture can actually do, and they've got a slightly different way as regards to the way they've designed it. So until people can get used to that environment, then you shouldn't be making judgment, because it might come around and bite you in the arse. So whilst on paper, on silicon, it may appear that the PlayStation 4 is more powerful, and like I said, some of the fanboys will go, well, obviously it's more powerful because some of the multi-platform games are running in high resolution. That don't mean shit. It really doesn't mean shit. And if you think it does, then you're being a bit naive. You need to give it some time. It may be that PlayStation 4 does prove to be a technically better platform, but we don't know that now. You don't count your chickens. Or don't count your eggs, don't count your chicken, don't count your chickens. You know, we need to give this a bit more time. Which one has the best games for it? Because actually that's one of the, that should be one of the core questions, which one has the best games for it? Personally, for me, on launch, it's the Xbox One, by a country mile. By a country mile. But that will undoubtedly change, I suspect, over time. You know, next sort of 6-12 months, or even the 6-month period, there may be a number of other games that come out on the PlayStation 4, exclusives, you know, because these platforms are both being developed for multi-platform games. So in theory there should be no great winners there. It will be the same game in effect on both platforms. But I think it's the exclusives that is actually one of the key questions to which way you go. And the other side is to do with price. Now obviously the PlayStation 4 is cheaper. It is, at the moment, it's £80 cheaper, which is not unsurmountable. You know, to be honest, it isn't. And if price is a factor in buying a next-gen console, current-gen console, then of course the PlayStation 4 will win hands down. Now, I'm sure you're aware the Xbox One comes with Kinect, so you're not just paying more for a console and not getting any extra benefit, although some may argue that what actual benefit does Kinect give you? So that's a, you know, that's a personal thing. But if price is key, then PlayStation 4 would be the better choice. As regards to the sort of functionality and what you want the console for, the PlayStation 4's been sold as a true gamers console. True. Okay, what does true gamers console mean? Again, it's a bit of a sales sort of spin, and it is subjective. Both consoles play games, end of. So, you know, whether one's a true one and whether one's just a console that play games, who gives a shit, as long as they both play games at a fairly equal level, and I think we can say that they do so far. Now the Xbox One is more geared towards this sort of Microsoft's vision of having a central hub in your living room where it won't just play games, it will enable you to watch TV, it will enable you to go on the internet, it will enable you to use apps, it will do multitasking, it's got the Connect functionality on it, blah 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 blah. In my view, the Xbox One is a bit more forward thinking. I don't personally think that a gaming only console will be what we will look for in the future. It may be now, it may be next year, maybe the year after, maybe the year after that. But in 5 to 10 years time, I think it will evolve, it will naturally evolve. And in my opinion, Xbox One's slightly more ahead on that. But again, that's only my opinion. So overall, which one's better? Personally, I don't think either one is better than the other. Personally, I think they're both great consoles, they really are. I'm really glad that I've bought the PlayStation 4. I think I made a comment on one of my other videos when I bought the PlayStation 3. I felt a bit let down, I felt a bit cheated. And it was a bit of a disappointment in a way, because we were told by Sony that the PlayStation 3 was, hold on, exactly the same as what they're saying at the moment, the most powerfulest console. And I think that it's been proved with a handful of titles, and this is part of the issue, a handful of titles, that the PlayStation 3 was more powerful than the Xbox 360 architecture. You know, if you look at games like The Last of Us, absolutely stunning game, absolutely stunning game, and actually a really good game to play as well. But you know, on the other side, then you got Halo 4. Then for the Xbox 360, you've got Forza. Hold on, you've got GT for the PlayStation 3. It is a bit swings and roundabouts. They were pretty close on the last generation. I don't actually think it'll be much different this time. If you're more loyal to one brand than the other, then you know that's going to undoubtedly continue. If you like Sony, you're going to stick with the PlayStation. If you like Microsoft, you're going to stick with the Xbox, of course. But whichever way you jump, I don't think you will ultimately end up regretting it. I really don't. They are both great consoles, and I can't wait to see what the future brings with these consoles. Not so much about what they're doing now, because it's you know, history will show that whatever the console's doing on day one, it'll be doing so much more after the developers get used to the platforms and the architecture and everything. Well, if it gets a shed load more better than what it is at the moment for the launch stuff on both the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, we are in for some awesome gaming. Personally, you know, a lot of you guys out there don't like next gen stuff, and I can appreciate that. You know, my channel is really about retro gaming, but it is a fantastic time at the moment. You know, I can't remember the last time that two consoles came out. In fact, the last time two consoles came out together within the same month or the same couple of months was when I bought the PlayStation 1 and bought the Sega Saturn. Now, it's not just that, because the Wii U now is starting to sort of move on really with the games. Mario 3DS World. Sorry, Mario 3DS. Mario World 3D, or Mario 3D World, whatever way it's called, has just come out, and there's various other games in the pipeline for the Wii U. I'm hoping this will start to push the Wii U forward. But I don't think we've ever had a generation really where there's been so much going on in such a short period of time. So it'll be looking, you know, obviously we've got things like the Vita as well, the integration with the Vita with the PlayStation 4. Now they need to develop that further to get that working, so that's another plus obviously for the PlayStation 4. But to draw a line underneath this, you know, which one do I recommend? I don't recommend either of them. I would say go for the console at the moment that actually gives you the best games that you want to play, and I personally feel that's as regards to exclusives. Now, another thing that sort of muddies the waters with this is that I would actually go as far to say don't get either of them at the moment. And you probably think, well, why are you saying that for? And the real reason I'm saying that is because the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360 are still so strong. You know, that platform is churning out some great looking games. You know, the gameplay is going to be virtually the same as what you're going to get on the PlayStation 4 and an Xbox One. You know, it's, you know, for the multi-platform games, I think obviously over time you'll start to see exclusives that only appear on the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. But at the moment, in some ways, there isn't actually any point in upgrading. in some ways, unless you're an absolute avid gamer and you have some spare cash. You know, these consoles aren't cheap. The new consoles aren't cheap, and when you can pick up a PlayStation 3 and an Xbox together for the price of one of the new generation consoles, it does make you think a bit, doesn't it? And let's be honest, the gaming, I actually think the gaming experience on the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3 currently as it stands now is pretty awesome. I think they're awesome consoles. Both of them are really good consoles, and you wouldn't, you know, again with those two consoles, you're not going to feel cheated if you buy either one of them. So actually, the ultimate advice is not to move at all. You know, wait for the prices to come down on the next gen stuff, and in the meantime, enjoy your 360 or your PlayStation 3. They're epic consoles. You know, I really love the last generation. I think it's been fantastic. So yeah, that is my ultimate conclusion. Sort of gone around in 360 there, pardon the pun, but yeah. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. I look forward to some of your comments. I might get a bit of hammering for some of the things that I've said in this video, but please share me your views and your comments. Speak to you again soon.